Alright guys, it's time for another knife review. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes I get a little distracted with other things, but you have to trust me, knives never go away. And although I don't like to categorize my channel as something specific, I mean there are gun channels, there are knife channels, there's jewelry channels, you know? And you guys know me by now, I like variety. However, my name's cutlerylover because I love cutlery, so I gotta do knife reviews, and I don't really feel an obligation to do them. It really is something that I enjoy, and if I had more time on my hands, trust me, you'd see 10 times as many knife reviews. But unfortunately, like everyone else, when the camera goes off, I go about my normal life, and I have 2 jobs, and it's hard to find the time to do it. But I do like to force myself to make time to do it because I like to share my hobby. And this is my favorite hobby. Although I have many, this is definitely my favorite. I am a huge blade head. But anyway, didn't really need the explanation, but just wanted to kind of share with you guys. I'm not leaning away from knives. It will always be a staple on my channel. But today, we're going to be talking about a new SOG knife, SOG, Special Operations Group. That's what it stands for, if you didn't already know. And this is the Pendulum, and this is an awesome knife. There are a few things I don't like about it, just like most knives, but overall I can tell you right off the bat that it's a really cool knife. Box as usual, got the old and new gunning approved sticker, which is pretty cool. No one really cares about the box, so let's get that out of the way, take a better look at the knife. So this is the SOG Pendulum, and it's kind of a unique knife in how it works. Overall, the look didn't do anything for me when I first saw it. I thought like, whatever. Some knives to me just look really sexy. They have great lines to them. They look cool. They look comfortable, if that makes any sense. But this one, it didn't really stand out at first, and I kind of looked at it a little bit more and I thought, well, I'm kind of interested in it. It's something when I first saw it I passed over, and oftentimes, I'm sure you guys do the same thing. You'll look through a knife catalog or you look it through websites online, and you'll find something and you kind of think nothing of it, and then later you kind of rediscover it and you see it again and you go, you know what, I saw that before, but now I'm really interested. This is one of those knives. So anyway, here's how it works. This is what makes it kind of unique, and of course where the name comes from, Pendulum. As I use the thumb stud here, you'll see that the bolster on the front, just the front scale, actually pivots so I can open the knife. And this is the locking mechanism. Okay, and these holes are cut out, not just these two being decorative, but this is functional, so you can get the meat of your finger in there, your thumb, to actually pivot that. Because what that does is there's a screw that goes right through here. Coming closer, you can see it. By the way, these are all Torx screws on the whole construction here, except for the thumb stud, which is removable. That's a flathead. But anyway, little Torx screw goes through this front bolster into a bar. Okay, you can see there's the back of the screw, and this bar butts up against the tang of the knife, and that's your locking mechanism. Alright, so to release the blade, right now it's locked, you have to rotate this up, which lifts the bar and lets go of the blade, so now it hangs freely. Alright, so that's the kind of cool mechanism you have there. Right off the bat, I can tell you that it's something that I don't like. I like the novelty of it. I think it's really cool. There's a couple different knife companies out there that does kind of weird, funky things, and I think it's awesome. I like innovation. I like things being unique, and that's what kind of drew me to the knife originally, is that it's different, and I always like trying new things. It's kind of funky, mechanical. I like it, but here's my biggest beef with the knife. My biggest complaint is that with this is just a normal grip. Alright, I pick up a knife, this is just how I grab it. To use the thumb stud, I cannot open the knife. As you can see here, the bolster pushes right into my pointer finger. Can't do it. And when I first took this out of the box, the very first time I got it, that's exactly what I did. I went to open it and I went, what the heck? And it stinks. It's just part of the design. I think it's a cool design, but it's a major design flaw in my opinion. So what I find myself doing, because I've been playing with this knife so much and using it, I find myself purposely canting my finger like this, okay, or angling it. I don't know if canting was the right word, but angling it up so that now it is out of the way if I do decide to use the thumb stud to open it. So something I've just been conscious of, okay, when I open the knife now. It's not natural to me, but when I just go to grab the knife, that's just what I do, is I kind of lift my pointer finger up. Which seems strange. You don't normally open a knife like that, you know, and kind of get out of the way. It may not be a huge deal to a lot of guys, but for me, it was disappointing when I first got it. However, I can say that the performance of the knife has surpassed my expectations, and it still allows me to enjoy the knife. It's not my favorite knife in the world. I'd be lying if I said it was the best. It's certainly not, but I still think it's a heck of a knife for the money. It does have the novelty factor. I think it's pretty cool. The locking mechanism is pretty strong. Once locked, there's no blade play in any direction, which is very good, of course. That's what we're all looking for in our folding knives, our locking folding knives anyway. But yeah, it's kind of a novelty there. Something I've also noticed is that when you push this all the way out, when it's completely extended, okay, up to here, it's kind of moving out of the way, moving that bar out of the way. But if you move it fully, the bottom of the bar pushes on the tang and actually helps to push that blade out a little bit. Okay, now once it's, you know, in this position here, even though the blade's out a little bit like that, it's free and clear of the bar. So if you're one of those people that love to kind of flick your knives out, see, I can't do it because I'm so used to, I usually choke up when I do that. But if I choke down a little bit, try to build up some pressure, and there we go, and kind of flick it out that way. But anyway, what I've discovered is that if you're one of those people who love to flick your knives out, if you were to extend this all the way, you can give it a little bit of a wrist flick to get that open. And same thing closing it. If you want to close it one hand fast, obviously make sure your fingers are away from the inside of the handle here. But open that to its fullest point, where it won't go anymore, and then just give it a little bit of a wrist flick to kind of close it. So let me see if I can, let me actually stand up and move over. Sometimes it's awkward kind of reaching all the way around it. But anyway, as I was saying before, if you were to push this all the way up, it moves that blade just enough where you can kind of give it a good little wrist flick to open it, and of course the same in the reverse to close it if need be. If you're one of those people who like to flick your knives open and closed. I'm sure if you practice this enough, you get pretty good at it. But I don't really care for that much. Sometimes I like to flick them open, sometimes I don't. In this case, I just, like I said, I'm conscious of moving my pointer finger to a position where I can just open it normally. But anyway, moving on. I still think it's a pretty cool knife. Let's talk a little bit about the blade, which is of course the most exciting part of any folding knife, or any knife for that matter. It's the business end. Handle's exciting because, you know, we want good grip and ergonomics and blah blah blah, whatever. It cuts stuff. So let's talk about the blade, right? I think it is an awesome blade. Awesome blade. Now when I got this, the plain edge version was unavailable. I do prefer plain edge knives over partially serrated knives, although I have to say that the serrations on this from the factory are really good. I have not used the serrated portion in my daily use when I've been testing this out, so they still have a factory edge, which we'll test in a little bit there. As far as the plain edge version, or the plain edge portion of the blade, it came really sharp from the factory, but I did in fact strop it before this video so I can do some more cutting demos. It did dull up pretty good with use. The blade still on here is a VG10 stainless steel. This knife is made in Japan, and it is marked on the back here. Alright, just wanted to cut there so I can give you a better shot. Didn't waste time focusing. VG10, Seiki City, Japan. Let's do a quick little paper cut test here. Again, the serration, or the serrated portion of this knife, still has its factory edge, so we're just going to test that. You see, it's ridiculously sharp. There really is like no resistance whatsoever cutting through the paper. As far as the plain edge version, was nice and sharp and then got dull with use, but stropping it up, it's got me a nice sharp edge again. far as the tip, it's still nice and pointy. Good for piercing if you need it to. Not that piercing paper is super impressive. Let me see if I have any card. Actually, you know what? Let's see, I can cut a piece off this box here. Get all that out of the way, don't need that. Alright, so cardboard. A little more sturdy here. It's hard to really tell in a video how much I mean, obviously you can't feel it, duh, so you don't know how hard I'm pushing, but it's not that hard. If I can demonstrate, let me use just 2 fingers here just to show you this. It really doesn't take that much pressure to pierce, you know, through the cardboard. Let's use that serration again. I'm going to cut on an angle here. You can see, not just a flat cut, but mighty clean, I might add, for cardboard. You can see how it's angled there, like on a 45. But really cool knife. Very effective. That's the whole point of the knife, right? You want it to be able to cut stuff, maybe feel good in your hand, and of course look cool. That's most people's concern. Is it going to hurt my hand? Is it going to look cool? And is it going to cut crap? But that's simplifying it quite a bit, isn't it? But anyway, as you can see, it's a really effective knife. I have enjoyed it quite a bit. The VG10 stainless steel does hold a great edge. I don't know exactly how to put it. I can't say like, okay, well, with a car I drove 80,000 miles before I had any problems. You know, it's not so simple to explain, but I can tell you it was a fair amount of use in the duration of about 3.5 weeks. I do sometimes go out of my way to test knives because my daily use, although I use a knife every day, it may not be that dramatic or excessive, so I do have to go out of my way to cut cardboard, and I bring plastic home from work, all kinds of straps. I tend to, if I wasn't into knives, I probably wouldn't recycle, but I do, and I end up cutting up milk jugs and water, you know, bottles, all kinds of crap. So the edge retention has been fantastic, just put it that way. It's got a nice polished satin blade, which now has markings on it from me cutting. I did clean it a little bit before I turned the camera on. But I really like the organic curves in the blade itself. It's a modified spear point is the style. It's kind of funky. Good belly over here. Then it's harder to tell with the serration, but it is a recurved blade. It does come back up a little bit before you come down towards the choil of the knife. But it's really cool. Feels good. The top here is beveled just a little bit on the sides. It's not rounded like on some knives, which I love. I love when the spine's rounded. It's just, it feels awesome. A couple examples would be of course the Chris Reeve Sebenzas, as well as the Bradley knives, the Elias. So let me back up just a second here and give you some specs. I know I usually start off with specs, but I just kind of turned the camera on and just went with it. Overall length on this is 7 inches. I would classify this as a medium folder. 2.9 inch blade, which is just obviously under 3 inches, which is great because a lot of the states in the US have the 3 inch or less rule or law, which is ridiculous. I think all knife laws are ridiculous, particularly if you're in a gun-friendly state like me, Pennsylvania. Just a mini rant within the review here. I live in Pennsylvania. I can carry an AK-47 on my back, open down the street, fully loaded, with a Glock on either side, but I can't carry a balisong in my pocket because that's just too dangerous. It really makes no sense at all. But that's just how it is. So anyone who likes to follow their laws and they have a 3-inch blade limit, this is perfect for you. So I think that's really cool. And I know a lot of different knife companies, they do keep that in mind. It's not by accident. They make it large, but you know, accessible to most people legally, which I think is great. They're just looking out for their customers, which is pretty cool. Overall weight on this is 4 ounces, just an average size. It doesn't feel heavy, or hasn't felt heavy in my pocket carrying it. I normally like the SOG pocket clips. This one was a little bit stiff for me. Let me grab the pocket to show you what this looks like. And it is a deep carry clip. With I should get a different pocket here because this is a little thicker than most of the pants that I wear. especially in the summertime, but it does carry, you know, completely concealed. You can see that space there. If this wasn't as thick like cargo shorts or whatever, it will go down further. But just to give you just a general look of it, what it looks like from the outside. Clip design's okay. I really can care less what they look like. It's all about function as far as the pocket clip goes. But it's been okay. It's just been a little bit snug for me. Just my personal preference. It is swappable to the other side. If you didn't already notice, this is only a tip-up carry knife. But like I said, you can actually remove it and flip it over to the other side, so it's right hand or left hand carry. What else can I say about this? Overall, the ergonomics on the knife, they're okay. I do have another little gripe, and I've had this exact same issue with the SOG Fusion line, the Salute, and that's down here. SOG's pretty notorious for throwing their logo on everything. So, I mean, you have the SOG laser cut into the back end of the knife here, which is cool looking, and there's nothing wrong with that except for the fact that this kind of abrupt angle here, it's not sharp or anything, but it's not as smooth of a transition. It is like, it's not really a 90-degree angle, but it's darn close. And the fact that this metal is kind of on the thinner side, when I've really gripped down hard on this knife, it does make my pinky sore. Okay, so it's not extremely comfortable in that sense. Light duty work, it's been totally fine. It's just, like I said, I mean, when I was cutting up cardboard, this is maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago now, I spent probably 15-20 minutes straight cutting. And if any of you guys have ever tried that with any knife at all, you'll find that you might pick up a knife at a knife store and go, yeah, man, that's comfortable. But 15 minutes of straight cutting, and you tend to start gripping hard when you're doing, you know, strenuous work. You start noticing things that you would never notice just by picking it up and playing with it. So that's really the whole point of these reviews and stuff. With actual use, your opinions do change. And just out of the box, it feels great. It's awesome. But like I said, working for a long period of time, it really starts to dig in and it hurts the bottom portion of the pinky here. So just a little bit of a hit on that. You can see the entire liners on this knife. It is steel lined, obviously. As you can see, it's kind of a jeweled look to it. It does add a little bit of grip on the inside here. The finger trolls are the right size where, at least for my hand, it kind of falls into place. It is comfortable. I tend to stay away from these because it's hit or miss. One person will grab this and it feels perfect. Another person with different sized hands will grab this and it'll be really funky to them or uncomfortable. So I try to stay with somewhat symmetrical handle designs in general. But of course I do stray out of the box, you know, every now and then. But by the way, the material here is a it's a GRN material. SOG likes to call it GRN, glass reinforced nylon. You guys probably never heard that term before. You probably are more used to hearing FRN, fiberglass reinforced nylon. It's the exact same thing. However, doing a little bit more research on this, because the term GRN was new to me, I found out that the terms, they're just interchangeable. Some people say fiberglass, some people just say glass. Another company that I actually can't remember right now just said GFN, glass filled nylon. So 3 different abbreviations all mean the same thing. It's a glass reinforced nylon, GRN. But like I said, you guys are probably more used to hearing FRN, so it's the same deal. Same exact stuff on all their synthetic knives, the Flash series, the Aegis, all those, same exact stuff. Impact resistant, it's hard to, I mean, I've never even seen any of this stuff crack before. It's very strong. You really never have to worry about it breaking. Alright, well, just to sum everything up, I like the knife. It's not my favorite knife. It's a far cry from the coolest knife, gotta have it today kind of thing. But you know what? One person's opinion is just that. It's just an opinion. What you do is you go around, you watch as many videos as you can on something that you're thinking about buying. You read as many reviews as you can. You read up product reviews on websites. A lot of them are copy and pasted from other websites, but the idea here is you get as much information as you possibly can, and based off that information, you make a wise decision whether to purchase something or to pass it up. So ultimately, I can't tell you guys, go out and get this. There's very few products that I would say you have to have this. If you don't have this, you're a fool. You know what I mean? Because I may love something and then someone else takes the exact same item and goes, what a piece of junk, man. You know, why'd you tell me to get that? So, you know, never feel any pressure or anything. If you watch a video and I say, oh, it's awesome, you got to get one of these, you know, get it if you like it. You know, do some more research. Look around. Watch other people's videos. Don't just base your purchases off of one person's opinion, because that's all it is. It's an opinion. And we all have them, and they can't be wrong because it's an opinion. Facts can be wrong, but opinions can't. But if you see 15 people who do a review on a knife and they all hate it, you're probably not going to like it. And same goes for if 15 or 20 people say it's awesome, then yeah, you'll probably like it too. But I'm just saying, you know, don't just watch one person and say, yeah, they like it, it's got to be great. Because that's not always the case. To each their own, right? But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love my knives. I really, really love knives so much, and I'm going to try to make more time. It really, really is hard to find time to do this kind of stuff, but I really do like it, and it's a great hobby, and I love sharing videos with you guys, so I'm going to try to make more time and do some more knife reviews. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.